In this video, I'm going to be showing a brief demo of the Legendary Supply Chain and Avalara AvaTax integration. From a requisition sales order, we are going to navigate to the Calculate Tax button. This is going to bring up our Avalara tax calculation screen where I can fill out my Avalara entity use code. This will also be defaulted from the customer account if a default one has been defined. We can define the Avalara tax date, which will default to today, or a previously defined Avalara tax date on the requisition. For instance, this may default to the original date on a credit memo if a credit is being issued. Then we can see our information that we're going to send to Avalara. My addresses have been validated, and if they had not been validated, they would need to be revalidated. I can also see my items that I am sending over. Some of these items have tax codes predefined, and some of them do not. They will receive a default. I can also apply an entity use code on a single item if, for example, maybe you're selling to an account that is generally resale, but one item on the order is taxable. You could define that here and set their total order as resale, in which case all the other line items would be resale, but one item could be considered taxable. So you have that option on both the header and the line items. When ready, I can submit this transaction, and this will send my transaction to Avalara AvaTax. I can also see my tax has come back to us, and I can see my tax amount for this order, which has been stored on the requisition. And we've also received back our Avalara ID, and now we can either void or do an adjustment on this requisition. If I go back to this requisition, I can also see some information has been captured in my Avalara information here, such as our document code ID in Avalara, the transaction ID, our company code, and our Avalara tax amount, of which has also been applied to our requisition as either a single line or two individual lines depending on your Avalara settings. Now if we also go into our Avalara portal, I'll be able to see this new transaction for requisition number 6 under our transactions for this month. In here I can also see that our reference codes have come over, our customer code from our environment has come over as well, our document code has come over from the Legendary Supply Chain requisition that we submitted, as well as those addresses for our ship from and ship to. We can also see our item codes, which will correspond to our materials, and our line descriptions and the given tax for each item on this order. Now again, depending on your Avalara setup and your settings, this may commit an actual sales invoice or may just calculate sales tax within Legendary Supply Chain. And those setups and settings can be found under Legendary Setup, under Legendary Settings, and Avalara Setup Settings. Thank you.